And we're rolling.
Well. Welcome to the podcast. If it isn't Brian and me, Nicolai.
Yep.
Hey, that's out of order. But who cares, right? Welcome to the Brothers Game Podcast. Brian,
Hello.
It's been a while.
It has. As usual.
We only record these every so often. Listen, I'm a father, okay?
Yeah.
About to get a lot busier.
So it just occurred to me that when we recorded the last episode, it was before Christmas. So technically, this is
crap.
also our Christmas spoils episode.
We didn't do a Christmas spoils episode. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go over Christmas real quick.
Yeah.
I got a book about bread baking, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife got me Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake for the Switch.
Cool.
So I'll finally get to play that.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that'll be sweet. I'll definitely talk about that when I actually play it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we're still in our Persona phase. So.
Yes. Probably the most interesting gift I got was this little Godzilla figure blowing out an energy thing, and it's LED. It got an LED, so that changes colors.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's pretty cute. All right, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. It wasn't
And a happy
It
New
wasn't
Year.
a super eventful Christmas, but it was good.
We're all old. We have
Yeah.
a baby. We buy presents for the baby now.
Yeah. And I'm still reading the Red Rising books, and so I got the third book in that series. The third and final.
Which I'll read someday.
Yeah.
Speaking of books, did you know that back in the day, long time ago, there was there's an author named Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Right.
I think you've heard of him. He wrote the Sherlock Holmes books. Well, there was another mystery writer called Maurice Leblanc.
Okay.
LeBlanc as in the coffee shop in Persona 5.
Right.
And he wrote a book about the most famous gentleman thief to ever live called Arsène Lupin, which is where you get the name Arsène, Joker's persona.
And also,
And
I'm
Lupin
guessing
the
that's the
Third
same Lupin
as
as
well.
Lupin the Third.
Lupin
Yeah.
the Third, yes. He even wrote a book called Holmes versus Lupin.
Oh.
And Conan Doyle was not happy about him using his character, but he did it anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was cool. All of that is based off of his creation.
Nice.
So speaking of Persona, what? That's what we've been doing.
Yep. Lots of Persona. So we were both playing Persona 5, and I did not listen to our last episode recently, but I'm pretty sure you hadn't yet beaten the game.
Probably
and
true.
I had not yet finished my
I think I was
New Game
near
Plus.
I think I was near
but
the
I think
end.
I had started it.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I am now almost done with my New Game Plus.
yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. And I'm almost done with Persona 3 Reload.
Yes.
So
You've played your New Game Plus and almost finished Reload. So
yes.
you're a bit ahead of me, but that's to be expected.
Yeah. I don't have a child, so whatever.
Not only do I have a child, I also play these games much slower than you.
Yeah.
So with my New Game Plus, I'm at 230 hours
Oh wow.
in Persona 5 Royal right now.
That's less than I have combined, like the first.
It
play-
is combined,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
So that includes my first playthrough.
That's almost. That's like 80 hours more than I played.
Yeah, that's about right. Now, Royal does have a lot more content, which we'll get into later. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying doing it again. I'm not skipping everything. I'm probably skipping much less than you did.
Yeah. I skipped a lot on the
I skipped
New
some
Game
stuff.
Plus.
I'm playing on hard mode, and I have not noticed it
Yeah.
because I've just been two-shotting every single boss I come across.
So I was playing on hard mode in the beginning of New Game Plus, and at first it wasn't a big deal, but I died a few times because the enemies just hit so much harder. I didn't really notice a big difference in my damage output when it comes to the different difficulty levels, but the enemy damage output was significantly higher on hard mode.
I think that's true. I think in some ways hard is harder than merciless. Because in Merciless, I think you do more damage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so I was playing on hard mode, and then I switched to easy mode for one particular fight. I don't even remember which one, but then I was kind of jumping back and forth, like hard mode for trash mobs, and then easy mode for harder bosses. But
Yeah.
then I think I was in Kanashiro's palace, and I was like, I'm burning through my SP so quickly, and I'd really want to get as much of the palace done in one day as possible, in one in-game day as possible.
Yeah.
So I just left it on easy so that I could conserve SP, because
Gotcha.
SP recovery items were kind of hard to come by.
I'm assuming it's much easier in Royal
Yeah.
SP recovery.
Yeah.
Because
Now, late game,
never
when
an
you
issue
can
for me.
make coffee and curry, then it's easier. But
Yeah.
before you have that ability, it's hard to find them.
I think this might be Royal only because when I was doing Confidants, I would start the Confidant, and most of the time it would give me every ability from the Confidant from the beginning. So if I start the death, for instance,
Yeah.
Takemi's shop would have everything in it.
Did you do that in
New
are
Game
you
Plus.
talking? Yeah.
In New
So
Game Plus, yeah.
I believe that's happens if you max out Chihaya in your original playthrough.
So that happened for me with her
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So if you do that in your original playthrough, then in New Game Plus you get everybody's abilities right at the start.
I
believe I read something about it being linked to Chihaya's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I maxed everything in my first playthrough. So, yeah, starting this, like, I had all of Mishima's EXP bonuses from the
Yeah.
beginning. I was able to make Master Curry and Master Coffee from the beginning, stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
insanely useful. I had almost everything except for, like, Kawakami's Massage I couldn't get right away. Some things like that. But in general, I had everything, which was super nice.
Yeah.
It was very, very useful.
Yeah. So as I was going through my New Game Plus, so in my original playthrough, I didn't focus very hard on social links
Right.
or on confidants. I was focusing hard on stats because I wanted to have all my stats be max for New Game Plus, because that does carry over.
Yeah, that's always very, very useful. So,
And then on New Game Plus, I was big on confidants, making sure all of them got maxed, and they did all get maxed. Also, since I'm playing on PS5, there are trophies, so was trying to get as many trophies
Definitely,
as possible as
yeah.
well.
from what I've heard, the royal trophies are actually easier to get.
Yeah,
So-
I believe it
Yeah.
based on what you've told me.
Yeah.
I did I found a super easy way to fight the Reaper and to grind the Reaper, and
Now,
that is
and this method is vanilla only.
yeah.
They changed it in
Oh,
the royal.
okay.
I
Yeah.
looked this up.
All right.
He does not get he's immune to all status illness in
Okay.
royal.
Yeah, so in the base game, he is susceptible to despair. Now there's only a chance, so if you go into battle and he doesn't have it, you need to leave and come back if you want to do it this way. And so I'd encounter him, and if he didn't have despair, I would leave, and then encounter him again until I got a match with him with despair, and he doesn't even attack.
He doesn't even attack.
Yeah, he doesn't attack at all.
Yeah, despair makes you unable to attack. So
And then after a few
it's the
turns,
most
he just
detrimental.
dies.
It's probably the most detrimental status illness because they'll die. In
Yeah,
3
I found
turns.
that out the hard
Yeah.
way on my first playthrough.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah.
Um,
And so I just did
that's
that a
really
few
cool.
times until my team was all like level 80. Yeah.
So I did in my New Game Plus. This was during probably around Matarame's time. I wanted to grind up a little bit. I knew I couldn't do that with the Reaper, but I was like, surely I have a 100% compendium of personas, right? And I have all the bonuses you get from Royal, and I'm like, surely there's a way for me to beat this Reaper, even though my teammates are all like level 20 or something.
Yeah.
So firstly, I fought Justine and Caroline
Uh-huh.
because if you survive, I think it's over 6 turns with them, the fight will end if you're not doing enough, and they'll give you the expedite ring. This is an
see.
accessory that gives you 50% more EXP
Okay.
period.
So that's all I did wrong then, is I just didn't
And-
last enough turns.
And it's even worse in vanilla. In vanilla, you have to last like 10 turns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so good luck. So what I did was I tried a couple tries of different things, and then I realized that in their first phase, they only use physical and gun skills. So what I did was just use Lucifer as my persona, who is immune to physical and gun skills. So I just went in the fight. I let my teammates die against them, and they just hurt me. They literally could do nothing to me. And so then at about turn 6 or 7, they literally say that they're bored now.
Yeah.
And they do an all-out attack on you, like with the like animation and like the ending screen with the twins and like and everything. They all-out attack you, which is amazing, and that instantly kills you no matter what.
Yeah.
So and then they say how disappointed they are, and and here's this ring, go get stronger, basically. So I got that, put it on Joker so I could get as much EXP for him as possible. And then I was thinking about who is the strongest persona, like who can I just deal insane amounts of damage with. And one of them is a DLC persona, Izanagi no Okami, Picaro specifically. There's 2 versions of each persona, and these are royal only, of course. There's regular Izanagi no Okami, and there's the Picaro version, and Picaro means like rebel or like something like that. And they're like newly designed ones, and they're a little more like punk rock looking.
Oh, okay,
stuff.
interesting.
And they like Izanagi looks like he's wearing a Shujin uniform, sort of like they're all just cool different designs. And so he has a move called Myriad Truths, which is what you use at the end of Persona 4. And it's like severe almighty to all targets 3 times.
Oh, nice.
Which is just, ridiculous. He also learns almighty boost, and he's one of the only personas that learns that.
Yeah.
So 25% bonus and all that. And so he helped a lot. So when I went in there, when I went up against him, I had my teammates have accessories that gave them moves that could buff me, basically. And so what I did was I used some more royal only things, like the Ring of Greed, I think it's called, which lets you use an ability that basically uses charge or concentrate on someone else. So I had like Yusuke use concentrate on me, and then like Anne would like buff me or something, and blah blah blah, and then I would just Myriad Truths after all that. And I think one Myriad Truths, I was only like level 25, right? Did half the Reaper's damage. I think about half with a concentrate. And so all I had to do was survive long enough to hit him twice, basically.
Yeah.
And eventually I did do that. And I beat the Reaper twice, I think, and got everyone to like over level 60.
Nice. And you're only in Madarame's palace.
Only at Madarame's palace. So that guaranteed that hard mode was not going to be an issue, basically. So, yeah, I feel like I'm cheating a little bit, but I'm not doing anything that's literally against the rules. So, I'm just playing it for fun. So this makes me want to get into the royal differences. Okay, let's just go through this.
All right.
Because some of these blew my mind so much. And let's just start with some of the big ones. The guns.
Yeah.
The guns work completely differently in Royal,
Okay.
which I'm sure you didn't even know that.
Right.
So when I'm going to ask you, because even I wasn't clear on it exactly. When you use a gun against a boss, what happens? Like, if you're Joker, right? And you use your gun at the beginning of the palace against some trash mob, you use all 8 of your bullets. What happens?
You're just out of bullets
You're just out of bullets
until you
until
go rest.
what? Until you go rest,
yeah,
as in like the next day.
Leave the palace. And
Okay,
come back
that's
the
what I
next day.
thought.
Yeah.
Your ammo replenishes every battle in Royal, and I just thought that was normal.
Wow.
You can unload your gun in every single battle because
Wow.
why wouldn't? To me, that's so duh.
Yeah.
Like you can't. What is the point of the guns in vanilla?
Yeah, that's why I didn't use the guns hardly ever. When I heard you using the guns all the time, I'm like, oh wow, really?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I use them once and it's over. Well, that's so crazy. Yeah, if you're the type to do a palace in one day, there's literally no point in using the guns at all. Unless you want to go through one fight pretty quickly.
So typically, if I was
Insane.
If I was up against an enemy that that I didn't know the weaknesses of, and I didn't feel like looking them up, which I normally did, I would just throw one of every kind of attack at them.
Yeah,
And then
that makes sense.
On rare occasions, some enemies are weak to gun,
yeah.
and so I'll use it there.
Like Pixie is weak to gun, and like some specific.
And
ones.
then like with Anne and I think Yusuke or their gun hits all enemies.
Yeah, Anne hits everyone.
I know Anne does.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if I needed a move that hits all enemies that didn't take any SP, I
Right.
you do that. But yeah,
But you only get to do it once. It's so weird to me. Yeah. Yeah, at the beginning, in Kamoshida's palace, when Morgana's doing a tutorial about it, he says that when you go in, the enemy's assuming it's a real gun, is the idea, right? And that's why the model guns work. But then he continues on saying, why would the enemy not think you brought a loaded gun? So don't worry, every battle, your ammo will be replenished because the enemy's assuming you have a loaded gun. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Didn't even cross my mind that that's Royal only.
Yeah.
Insane.
So yeah, that's why I never really made a big deal about the guns.
That's why I'm like, I thought they were quite fun. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Haru's, I know, hits all, I think. Because she has like a grenade launcher. It's like a big explosion. So that was one of the big ones to me that I could not believe. The other one is also you learn about in Kaneshiro near the beginning is the grappling hook. Yeah. That is not in vanilla at all. Right. Joker doesn't have a grappling hook.
Yeah, I
that's
certainly
like,
never saw one.
It's like a defining trait of Joker is using his grappling hook. So basically, when you use your third eye and you notice the little exclamation points, that means that's like a step you can grab or like a cliff you can grab onto, right? Yeah. That's in vanilla, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just you just jump and grab with your hand. Yeah.
But there's a different icon for grappling hookable parts, basically. There's like a sound goes off, and then you like go to third eye and you look around and you see the point like up high, and then you hit left bumper and he just like flies up to a space, and that like skips tons of tedious places apparently. Yeah. Like there's a part in Kamoshida's castle where you're like going up to the big tower at the end, and there's tons of hard shadows outside, and there's like a maze of boxes you have to go through and stuff. Yeah. You skip all of that in Royal. Oh man. You just like you look up and you grappling hook to like the top of the tower. It's an option. You can do it the other way too. And I'm just like, that's not in the original game. That's crazy to me. Like yeah. Also, it's interesting looking at these, a lot of these are linked with Royal only characters. So I'm like, okay, then that makes sense, I guess, that it was Royal only. But like when you rank up Kasumi's confidant, right? One of the things you learn is being able to ambush enemies with the grappling hook from far away, and they can be like across the room, and you just grappling hook to them, and it ambushes them, which is super cool. Yeah, and it's very helpful.
Speaking of ambushing enemies, I found this out after you were talking about it. In the base game, if you ambush a enemy that is really far below you and instant kill them, I think that's our ability from Ryuji's confidant.
Yeah, at Ryuji rank 7, you get insta kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you don't get any money or experience. You just get the persona.
Yeah. Yeah, in Royal you get money and experience. Like definitely less than if you beat it normally, but it's significant enough that in somewhere like Mementos, it's easy grinding. Like
Yeah.
especially for money. I feel
And I think
like.
that helps explain why it was actually kind of difficult to do that
Yeah.
in Mementos.
Yeah.
Like you had to line up perfectly behind the enemy and hit them in order for it to count for that. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
would just start the battle.
Not a thing in original at all. Yeah.
But it turns out in a lot of cases you wouldn't want that because you don't get any
Right.
experience or money from the
Yeah.
fight.
And in Royal, I think it might be different in the original. When you use third eye and you see the colored outline of an enemy, shows like if they're about your level, if they're higher, or whatever.
Yeah. That's a feature I basically never made use of.
right.
But yeah.
But in Royal, at least, they would sometimes have a green outline, and that meant you could insta kill them, basically. And so that was very helpful for when I wasn't quite sure, because I think you have to be like over 10 levels higher.
Yeah, I believe
than
so.
the enemy, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, when you're like really deep in Mementos, doing that gets you so much experience and money.
Yeah.
Like it's
Whereas
very,
it got
very
me
useful.
none.
So I'm so sorry about that. It's no
Yeah.
wonder that I have maximum money like all the time.
Yeah.
And you didn't, because I'm just especially disaster shadows, which aren't a thing you know about. So let's
Right.
look at that.
And fusion alarms. That's another thing I
yes,
didn't
we'll talk
experience.
about that. There's savage and disaster shadows, and savage ones have like a red glow. They look like they're almost on fire. And there's randomly in palaces or mementos.
There are shadows that have a red glow to them
Hmm.
that you can visibly see, and they're just known as strong shadows. They don't have a name,
Okay, gotcha.
but they're stronger than usual
They're just stronger.
shadows. Yeah.
So in this, they're called disaster, or I mean savage. Sorry. And I guess they just work a little differently.
Yeah.
I think they might be even stronger still in Royal.
Yeah.
Because they're the difficult ones. But when you see those in Mementos and you insta kill them, you get like 50 grand in
wow,
money.
jeez.
Like just like maybe not that much, but like 20.
But a lot.
But like
Yeah.
at least 15 grand.
Man.
Yeah, insane. So I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
One time my first playthrough, I got one of those weird floors, kind of like what happens in Tartarus a lot, where it was all savage shadows.
Oh, interesting.
All that would
Okay.
spawn is savage shadows, and so I was just beating them down.
No.
I was just running them down like crazy until the Reaper showed up, basically for
Yeah.
like minutes straight, and I got like 200,000 yen and just
Wow.
like, well, actually not, no, by that I mean 2 million. Sorry,
Oh,
not
jeez.
200,000, 2 million. I got 200,000 in like 5 or 6 probably. Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
It makes grinding a breeze. So, not to mention that in Mementos, there's little Jose, or Jose, as they say in the game, which is really stupid. His name's Jose. And he's a little kid that is apparently he's like a Velvet Room trainee,
Oh, yeah.
because he doesn't tell you that, but he's got the eyes, like exactly the same eyes and the gray hair and stuff. But he's in like gray clothes, and he talks like a Velvet Room person. Talks about humans like that, and he's kind of like weird. Anyway, he has like stamps hidden throughout Mementos, and if you collect a bunch, you can upgrade. You can change the cognition of Mementos, meaning get bonus money, EXP, and items,
Oh, wow.
basically. And so if you collect them all, you get double everything, basically. So all experience and money and items are doubled by the end.
Wow.
So that makes it even more
Yeah.
ridiculous. So
Man.
the quality of life improvements are insane in Royal. So let's keep going, shall we? Some confidant abilities are different. I was surprised to learn that in vanilla, Baton Pass is a confidant ability.
Yes.
That is crazy to me. That's just an innate feature of the game.
So
That's
there,
not something you
there were some
unlock.
baton passes that I didn't get until very late game as a result.
Very strange to me. Because, to me, that's just part of the battle system. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, it's there from the beginning with
And
everybody.
I'd occasionally forget and go, "All right, my confidant isn't high enough with this character,
Yeah.
so I can't baton pass to them yet."
Very lame. I'm so sorry. And those are replaced with other things. So like does Anne have the sexy technique in the base game,
I don't think so.
where she'll just like randomly distract an enemy and keep them from attacking?
No, I don't
basically?
think that's in the base game. No,
So stuff like that. They
Yeah.
get like weird little abilities like that.
no.
As well as the show times, which I think I've mentioned to you before.
Right.
Show times are like big cutscene attacks, basically, with specific duos of teammates. The first one is Morgana and Anne have like a crazy thing where, he gives her flowers, and then she pulls out machine guns out of the flowers and, and shoots them, and then he throws like a bomb at them, and like
Yeah.
it's the whole thing. Probably my favorite one is Haru and Makoto. Basically, the shadow appears in a wrestling ring, and they at first they're just like going at it, punching it. Makoto's a chair and smashes it, and then they both go up on a corner each, and then do a double like elbow drop on him.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's stuff like that. They're very fun. They only hit a single enemy, but they do a lot of damage. They're kind of like all out
That's a lot
attacks.
of damage.
Yeah, they're all out attacks, but with only 2 of the characters basically, and they're just for fun. As far as palaces, there's a collectible that's only in Royal called Will Seeds, and they are. Morgana describes them as like a lot of distortion concentrated into like a physical thing. It almost looks like a fruit,
Okay.
but it's like a skull fruit, and it's like evil. And there's 3 of them in each palace, and they're all very hidden.
No.
And so you're always, looking around, and you're like, oh, that's a weird little corner, and there might be a will seed over there, and apparently that adds whole other areas to palaces that weren't in the original. And a lot of them you get to by using the grappling hook. So that makes sense, because that's also Royal only. Anyway, if you get all 3 of them, they combine into an accessory that you can actually use. And those accessories are very good.
Yeah.
They're all based off of the 7 deadly sins, which each palace ruler represents, basically. So like lust is the first one with Kamoshida, and
Right.
greed with Kaneshiro and stuff like that. And then Jose and Mementos can take that crystal and turn it into a ring, which is an even better version of that. So like the one I mentioned earlier that Yusuke used on me was the concentrate charge one, being able to use that on anyone basically. Some of them are just like healing abilities, whatever,
No.
but they're very useful little accessories. Oh yeah, some bosses are different, like Madarame in particular. After you beat his first phase, that are like the face paintings. In vanilla, apparently, you just fight Madarame, like he's just
Right.
a dude. In Royal, he's a dude, but then he's like splits into like 5, and each one is like a different element.
Oh, okay.
They're all very flashy and
So it
colorful.
just keeps up with the element thing.
Yeah,
All right.
and so like it'll be like there's a fire Madarame and an ice one and whatever, and so they all have different elemental weaknesses, and like it's a whole thing you got to
Also,
do.
if you don't kill him quickly enough, the paintings come back.
Oh, interesting. That might be in Royal too. I just didn't come across it, but yeah, I'm not sure.
In New Game Plus, he did not live long enough for that.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And then let's see, Morgana. It's funny because I had heard this complaint a lot, and I had never. I'm like, I've only played Royal, right? I'm
Right.
like, I don't get it. Why do people hate Morgana for this all the time? Apparently, Morgana tells you to go to sleep a lot.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Was that a thing?
Yep.
Okay. Because Morgana like never does that in Royal, and it's like a change they made because people hated it so much.
So there are a lot of evenings where you are standing in your room and you can't do anything else for the day.
Because it's
And,
story or whatever.
so if you try to do anything else, like work out in your room or make infiltration tools, Morgana will just tell you to go to bed.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So I think mostly they just changed what he says instead of let's just go to sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
He just says different stuff, or maybe it gives you more freedom.
Also,
but-
I'm pretty sure
yeah.
every single time you get in bed, he says, "Let's go to bed."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So-
probably it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, they changed that. That's one of the smaller changes, but I thought it was pretty funny.
That's this is the only thing I'll say about 3 at the moment.
Sure, we might get into it later. But
The one thing I really appreciated about Persona 3 Reload compared to after playing Persona 5 is no matter what you do with your team, except for infiltrating Tartarus, your evening is free.
okay,
If you have an after school meeting in the command room with everybody, if you have a big story event or something that happens in the evening, you still get an action in the evening,
Gotcha,
which
gotcha.
was not true in Persona 5.
Yeah.
So many days where it's just like, oh, my entire day got wasted by story event stuff and I didn't get to do anything.
very often it's like a solid week of pure story, and you can't really do much else. Yeah, very true. In the obviously Persona 5 Royal adds an entire third semester to the game, basically. And most of that is focused around Kasumi and the new dungeon and, all the Royal only story, basically. But you can have they did the same thing in Persona 4 Golden, actually, where you can have new hangouts with your main confidants, too.
Yeah.
Your teammates, especially. And they will have a second awakening to new evolutions of their persona, basically. And in this they get new abilities that because I think in their first awakening they get like evade wind and evade electric and stuff, right?
Yeah.
In this they get totally unique support abilities that are purely unique to them. No other persona gets these and stuff, and I just want to go over some of them because they're disgusting. They're just absolutely ridiculous. So, like, one I used very often was Johanna. Or no, well, yeah, it is Johanna. She, Makoto, gets Checkmate, which uses Debilitate on all enemies.
Nice. Okay.
Debilitate lowers attack, defense, and hit evasion. It lowers everything.
Yeah.
All enemies, not just one. Very similarly, Yusuke gets Hyaka Ryoran, which is Heat Riser for all allies.
Nice.
Raise all stats of all allies. Ridiculous. Ryuji gets Fighting Spirit, which uses Charge on all allies. Absolutely stupid. And of course, then in comparison, Anne gets High Energy, which is Concentrate for all allies. Ridiculous. So like Tetrakarn and Metrakarn, Makarakarn, and whatever. It like gives you a repel against a single move, basically. So Haru gets Life Wall, which gives a physical and magic barrier to all allies. So unless it's an almighty attack, every single ally will completely repel whatever the boss's attack is. Like, that is stupidly broken. Because she could just use that again.
Yeah.
The next turn. Anyway, it does cost 95 SP, which is a lot, but
So probably 2 or 3 times at most.
Well, if you're level 99, you get that you get like 5 uses of that.
Oh, wow.
So, also, you could give her, an accessory that increases your SP by 30%. Also, if you wanted to, like you could do a lot with that.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the new girl Kasumi gets Brave Step, which raises the crit rate of all allies.
Nice.
Which is also ridiculous.
Stack that with Concentrate.
Exactly. And I did. That's how I would get like my Kahulin using a one-shot kill that's been charged and crits and does 3,600 damage or something.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I had a highest damage thing finally. Satanael gets a passive called Tyrant's Mind that raises all damage, period, and lets him ignore the damage cap.
Oh yeah. Just like the Genji gloves in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII.
Right. So you could do over 10,000 damage basically.
Yeah.
And I did an attack with him that was it was on a particularly susceptible enemy. I think there's certain enemies that take more damage from Almighty.
Okay.
And what I've done is I've made Satanael the ultimate Almighty attacker basically.
Yeah.
And I did 28,000 damage, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was possible on an enemy that had like 200 health. Probably. Yeah, but it was awesome. So
I don't think, with the exception of maybe a couple of special boss parts of boss fights where a boss took more damage than normal and every hit was hitting for thousands.
Exactly, yeah.
But apart from that, I don't think I ever did more than 2,000 damage in Persona 5.
I mean, that's good though. Going over 1,500 at all is really difficult.
Yeah.
So depending on the enemy.
That said,
and
in
stuff,
Persona 3 Reload, I have definitely beaten.
Yeah.
that
Oh, nice.
amount. Yeah.
That's cool. I look forward to playing that, which I'll be able to do soon. So I got to talk about traits. I got to
Okay.
tell you about Persona traits.
All right.
This was up there with guns, where I went, how did Brian play vanilla Persona 5? So in Royal, every persona has a trait, and it's just an innate passive of the persona.
Okay.
And it's just like it's up in the corner. It's not one of the 8 moves,
Okay.
like how they have passives and stuff that are really useful. And you just don't have those, aren't in the base game. And it makes no sense to me, because it's like most of the reason I use a lot of personas is because of these traits. Like, and a lot of personas have really unique ones. Some share other ones. Like Alice, for instance, right? Of the Death Arcana. Hers is Just Die,
Okay.
which makes all insta-kill abilities cost 0 SP.
Oh, wow.
So like her go-to move, Die For Me, which is a ridiculous, insta-kill, is free to use. It costs no SP. That's just her passive.
Wow.
That's just part of her persona. Futsunushi is one of the best ones. It's called Will of the Sword, and it makes it so charge and concentrate have a bonus of ×3
Oh, wow.
instead of 2.5, basically. And it begins the battle with concentrate already if he's your main persona. If he's like your persona at the beginning of the battle, he just automatically has a concentrate.
Wow.
And almost all of these passives are able to be passed on through fusion. So when you fuse a new persona, you decide what passive it gets, what trait it gets,
Interesting.
based on the persona you're making and then the two that are, creating it or whatever. And so I passed on Will of the Sword to Satanael. So he has Will of the Sword, which so his concentrates are very good.
Yeah.
And concentrate powers up Maggie Dolan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He also has Black Viper, which is severe Almighty instead of
Right.
heavy. It's only to a single enemy, but it's still ridiculous. So he has that plus Tyrant's Mind, which just powers up all attacks. And then he has Magic Ability, which powers up all magic abilities by 1.25%. Then he has Almighty Boost, which I gave to him through Izanagi no Okami. And then he has Almighty Amp also, which is a 50% boost to Almighty. That is only available through Network Fusion, which is that even a thing in vanilla? Is that a thing you feel like you unlocked?
How does it?
You get it around November, and you have to be connected to the internet.
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay, you get nothing like that? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So basically, it's called public execution, is what the twins call it. And if you're connected to the network, you can basically fuse with another player.
Yeah.
Like it has a list of things other players have used, and you give up one of your personas for a fusion, and you fuse a new persona. You're just fusing with another person basically, and there's 4 abilities that it can randomly get sometimes only through network fusion. And Almighty Amp is one of those. It is the only way to get that. So, yeah. And it would make sense that it was Royal only.
Yeah.
I don't know if the original had any network functionality at all. So.
There was the Thieves Guild.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't remember what you could even do with it, and
Okay.
because I never used it.
So, I mean, it might be in there through the Thieves Guild because Royal has that too. So,
Okay.
I'm not sure. But anyway, with all of that combined, that's how I got to 28,000 damage.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But even like low level personas, like wind skill costs half. Like for personas that use a lot of wind skills, like there's some that boost like your passive healing when you have like regenerate or regenerate 3 or invigorate 3 or whatever. Some make you like there's just one called immunity, which makes it so you can't you're immune to status ailments, period.
Oh, nice.
That's a pretty high level one, but like anyway, they're all ridiculous. And all of your friends have these too. For instance, Carmen, her ability is Mastery of Magic, which every once in a while, it's not every time, but randomly, it'll just half the cost of anyone's magic skill.
Nice.
Like you'll use a magic skill and it's like, oh, Mastery of Magic went. So it didn't cost as much and like stuff like that. And like Ryuji's is insane too. Raging Temper. Randomly, it'll just boost your physical damage by 40%. Just like ridiculous things. Like,
Wow.
Anyway, they're very fun and often makes me is why I choose certain personas to use for things is because of their traits or whatever. So yeah, I was so blown away that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm very sorry that you had to go through that.
And no fusional arms. either.
Yeah, fusion alarms are extremely useful too, especially when boosting like EXP on personas, because you have the hanging thing, right? The gallows,
Yeah.
where you can strengthen a persona, sacrifice a persona to give
Yeah.
EXP to another one. If you do that during a fusion alarm, first of all, you can do it again. Then it doesn't use up that persona's ability to be strengthened,
Oh, cool.
because normally you can only do it once a day.
Right.
But during a fusion alarm, you can do it unlimitedly. Fusion alarms end after a mistake happens, which mistakes are very common with a fusion alarm. But like, even if there's a mistake when you strengthen a persona like that, the mistake is instead of EXP, they just get +5 to random stats,
Oh.
like +5 stats. So like 1 strength, 2 endurance, 2 luck, or whatever, which is extremely useful. Like, if you just do that over and over again, that's how I got, I have like 3 personas that have 99 in all stats. And that's a big reason why, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Royal added a lot of, I'm really surprised actually at how much Royal added.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. In my new game plus, I chose the Sigma male run through of
Yeah.
not
Gotcha.
dating anybody,
Yes.
and just spending Christmas with Futaba and
Yeah. I will also be spending Christmas with Futaba, but a little differently.
you romanced
So
Futaba,
I did.
the forbidden.
The forbidden romance, if you're stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're weird and find that weird. So I'm already done with all my confidants. And I haven't sent the calling card to Saya yet.
Oh wow!
And I'm done with every confidant.
Except Haru.
Except Haru. Sorry. I'm at like rank 3 with Haru. You're right. But all of the ones that are automatic, I'm obviously not done with.
Right.
But yeah, all other main ones I'm done with. Because I just finished Shinya, the kid,
And
the kid gunner.
You're not ranked 10 with Kasumi yet, then, right? Or
Right, because I can't be.
Yeah.
I can't continue hers until like January.
Yeah.
So So yeah.
Yeah.
But again, all the automatic ones too. I'm only at like
Right.
rank 9 with, but
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. I actually, well, real quick, I had so at like rank 7 with Futaba, you have to change the hearts of Kana's parents.
Right.
Kana-chan's parents, and it was the first time I had a Mementos request I could not fulfill because I hadn't unlocked that floor in Mementos yet.
Uh-huh.
I hadn't gone far enough in the story
Yeah.
to go that far in Mementos. That was a first. I was like, well, that's annoying because I want to date Futaba. This is a roadblock.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me that on my New Game Plus, it took a long time to have advanced Ryuji's past like 7 or something because there's only certain
Yes.
days of the month that he'll continue
Yes,
that one.
at rank 7 specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to wait like 3 weeks to rank him up. Yeah, and it's really annoying too because I was waiting for insta kill because
Yeah.
I wanted to use it and like because it's so useful in Royal. Yeah. And that's the one you get it. Yeah, I found that really annoying too.
Yeah. So in the PS5 version, there's trophies, and
Yeah.
I was gonna see if I could platinum the game. I got pretty close. There's only a handful but the ones left would be such a pain to
just
get
too much
that
of
I'm
a pain.
probably not going to.
It's understandable.
First of all, I would need to start I not necessarily need. I think I could probably do it with one of my saves, but it would be easier if I did a third playthrough, which I don't know that I really want to
That's
do
tough.
a third playthrough.
Yeah.
At least not anytime soon.
That's tough.
So I have not defeated Justine and Caroline, and that is
Right.
a trophy. There's a trophy for catching the Guardian, which is the
Oh, yeah.
the fish of
Oh,
all
yeah, I did.
fishes.
That's pretty easy, but maybe that's just in Royal. Maybe it's only easy in Royal.
It's easy. It's a lot easier if you go during torrential rain
Oh, yeah. that
because he
makes sense.
spawns right away.
Right.
But I was already past all the dates that torrential rain can happen.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
so I would have had to do it. You have to like
No, that makes sense.
catch a bunch of other fish in succession to
Right.
get to even get him to spawn, and then yeah.
I'm sure it's way more difficult
I-
without that. So
and-
yeah, no, actually, I see that.
So I only want to do it if I can do it on a torrential rain day, and that means starting a third playthrough.
Right, just for a fish.
Yeah.
That's a little much. Yeah. Unless you want to do like an all romance run.
Yeah, Futaba has. Like,
Oh yeah, her voice lines.
You have to listen to like 250
Yeah.
different Futaba lines in battle, and after 2 playthroughs, I still haven't done that, and I don't know. So like it's easier if you get a bunch of status effects, which I just didn't encounter as many in my second playthrough because I was so strong.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to like literally
I
try to
killed
get
the
hurt.
enemies too quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because there's unique ones for hunger and despair and all of the different statuses. Yeah, that makes sense.
And they do recommend having Akechi in your party when you can, because he's got unique lines
Yeah.
as well. But yeah,
I'm impressed, Akechi-kun. Yeah.
yeah. So there was that one, and
Not just a pretty boy, I think she says one time.
there was some other one that was just like. So I read every book. That's a trophy.
Yeah.
I hit a home run on the batting thing, which is good because I was bad at it. And so the
it's
fact that I
kinda tough.
actually pulled one off, I'm like,
Yeah.
great, I don't have to do this again. Finished the compendium, finished every confidant.
And like to me,
Yeah.
that's enough. Like you've basically done everything.
Yeah.
That's understandable. Yeah, unless you want to play Royal someday, and platinuming that is probably easier anyway.
Right,
But,
probably.
Yeah. So maybe that's just the way you should go if you ever get the itch to play it again.
Yeah.
Just do Royal instead. Yeah.
Now, Persona 3, I have a guide.
Yes. Very helpful.
Persona 5, I went in blind.
Right. I followed the
Intentionally, I went
guide
in blind.
very closely.
Yeah.
This New Game Plus, I haven't used a guide at all though. So
Yeah.
only if, I mean, I've looked up specific things
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's
but,
funny. You did it with a guide on your original playthrough, and then not on New Game Plus. I did the opposite.
Yeah.
Went in
Yep,
blind,
that's
and
funny.
then second time I'm like, okay, I need
Yeah.
to actually know what to do. I didn't use a guide for every single action, but I did pull up guides for how to unlock various things.
Yeah. I must defend real quickly. Futaba's only a year younger than you.
Yes.
Okay. So if that's gross, then so is dating Kasumi, which
Right.
is very normal to do also. Only a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
I
way
get she
less
was-
creepy than dating any of the adult women.
Exactly. Way less creepy than the 3 adult women that are available to date. So Joe's okay with it. You're probably the only guy he would ever let be
Yeah.
with Futaba anyway. And so far, it hasn't been gross like at all.
Right.
It's been like very, very sweet. It means a lot to her. Like it's helping her branch out even more because you're like taking her on dates places
Yeah.
in the public, and she's like having a blast, and it's super fun. Anyway, I'm all about it.
Futaba is my number
all
one
about
choice, by the way.
Yeah.
Second choice.
So cute.
Hifumi Togo.
Yeah,
I really like them as a couple.
totally understand that.
And then third choice, Makoto, because she's awesome.
Yeah. So I really like Kasumi. It's tough for me because Kasumi's a great character, but not counting vanilla only. I'm a Haru fan,
Yeah.
so I get that you're not necessarily.
Yeah.
But Makoto would be my next choice too. I think realistically, Ren and Makoto make the most sense actually.
Yeah.
And I think they have like I think they would be together forever, like because they have a very mature, stable relationship. I think.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a lot more lovey-dovey and romantic with some of the other ones, which is like a little more, I don't know, fake, if that makes sense.
My least
Or
favorite pairing
less
is
long-lasting.
with Oya.
Absolutely.
And my second least favorite is with
the weirdest.
Kawakami.
That's the weirdest one. But
Because it's just...
you're right. There's 4 adult
Yes,
women.
there
Sorry.
With Kawakami, it's like... It could have been less weird, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Especially because she doesn't really want it. And like Ren actually is pretty pushy to get her into a relationship.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't know.
Whereas
I don't
Chihaya
that.
doesn't make it weird.
Yes. And she's barely an adult, basically.
Yeah.
She's like 21 probably. Like she's very young. So yeah. No, theirs is pretty sweet. Of all the adults, definitely.
I don't think I talked about this on the last episode because I don't think I had watched it yet, but I watched a video that had every relationship.
Yeah.
It just some person played the game and
Everything.
and save scummed like crazy.
Yeah.
Like
every scene and every dialogue option in the scene.
this was a total of I think 15 hours.
Yeah. Jeez.
And of course a solid 3 hours of that was just Kasumi's.
Yeah. So did you watch all of that?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I actually didn't watch any of Kazumi's.
Okay.
But and
It's
I
so
also
sweet. Ugh.
also
love Kasumi.
this 15 hours includes the entire confidant for each female
okay.
character.
Gotcha. So 1 through 8 is not romantic, obviously.
Right. But yeah, so I just wanted to see the romantic options with each character.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. Some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah. And then also we watched Persona 5 the animation.
Yeah, the anime. I am watching it with my wife. Mm-hmm. We are now 14 episodes in. Mm-hmm. They are currently facing Medjed. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the last episode was the scream with Makoto and Futaba in the dark.
Yep.
Which was hilarious. So that's where we're at.
Me and Mom started watching it, and we finished it in about 3 days.
Yeah, because that's how you do things.
Yep.
We watch 1 episode a night sometimes. So
it's so funny. Like
usually 2.
People tell me like, "Oh, this anime is so long." And I'm like, I can finish a 26 episode anime in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And I'm a working adult who also has other stuff that I'm busy with too.
Yeah.
Not like.
Yeah, if you're okay really binging stuff,
Yeah,
it's
and I
certainly,
am. Like,
certainly doable.
I can spend 6 hours watching the same show.
Right.
Like,
a lot of people
perfectly
can't do that.
fine with
I think
that,
a lot of people like get too antsy if they do that or something. Yeah, which I get, but
I don't like doing the same thing all day long. Usually without at least some breaks.
yeah,
I take some breaks. Like, so there are times when I'll wake up at 6-ish a.m. on a Saturday and play the same video game from then until about 10 o'clock at night.
yeah. And
But I
that's-
do take periodic breaks.
and that's how you beat games faster than me.
Yes.
I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I get 3 hours at night sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
so that's about it. And yet I've still put 225 hours into Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
So That just shows you how dedicated I am to
I
that
wound
game.
up with like 165-ish hours, I think, in and
That's normal.
that's fast forwarding through like every
Right.
cutscene almost, except
And I did
some
that
of the
very
confidant
rarely.
ones.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, most of the confidants, even though I've done them all, I pretty much read and went through all of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the voiced cutscenes, I sometimes go through a little quickly. Like
Yeah.
if I read it before they're done
Yeah,
talking,
I
I'll skip
do
it.
that,
But I didn't
sure.
like fast forwards or anything like that. So yeah, I think the game. I love the story in general. Playing through it again, I'm like, this is still fantastic. And actually, playing the beginning again, I miss Anne and Ryuji by the end
Yeah.
because like they just, the focus is much less on them as it goes on because there's too many other characters and too much else going on. And I like forgot how much I liked them
Yeah.
when I played through the Kamoshida arc again. So I just wanted to say that. But I love Ren and Anne as like super close best friends.
Yeah.
I get them as a couple and like I could see it, but I feel like their friendship is much better.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't love how
The romance,
like
yeah.
I did.
That's who you romance.
Well, I didn't love how like anxious she was about affection.
Oh yeah.
But like
tough.
I understand
I mean,
that
yeah, it was
there
her
are people
first
like
boy-
that in real life,
Yeah.
and it always bothers me a little bit, and like I feel sorry for people like
Yeah.
that have
And I
that
mean, you're the
struggled
first
with affection.
boyfriend of most of the girls.
Yeah.
So, because they're all pretty, because that's sort of the point of the game is everyone's kind of like an outcast, who
Yeah.
doesn't have that many friends and stuff. Yeah, because and actually, Futaba's does a pretty good job. Like she's not as anxious and freaking out as you would think. There's moments of that in her relationship, but not actually that bad.
No.
Where was I going with that? Anyway, I was saying the story really takes a dip around Okumura.
Yeah.
Like the stuff with Morgana being mad at everybody and having a falling out, and like I feel like that whole section until like after Okumura, I'm like, I was just like, let me just get through this kind of.
I
was, like, not
preferred it
loving
in the anime, and
I'm sure it's quicker in there
because it's quicker.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I am pleased. They don't harp on it too long. Like I think Morgana's back on the team within 2 days in game, but still, it's just like, ugh, I found that very annoying.
Yeah.
Although the beauty thief stuff was really funny, so that part's great.
Yeah.
And it was just like awkward silence, and then she, like for a third time, she says, "We will take the treasure." Anyway, amazing.
Yeah.
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 The anime was pretty good. They've certainly taken a few liberties.
They have. Yeah, they've
it's
added
very quick.
a couple of things.
Very fast.
But
that's
it's
to be
so
expected.
Fast. Occasionally, I would pause it and go, "Okay, just so you know, that was like 6 hours
That's
of
like-
gameplay
yeah.
that we just glazed over
And
in like 2
in-game day,
minutes."
like 2 weeks of in-game days.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And they do entire confidants in one episode. Like we just watched Makoto's one with her friend and stuff. That's like, wow,
And
that sure is her whole confidant.
There's several characters that they don't show the entire
Yeah,
confidant.
that's a shame. I think.
Like they essentially skipped Chihiya's completely.
Yeah, that sucks. I like Chihaya. And taking down the cult. Yeah. Well, yeah, and they don't show most of Kawakami's too.
Right. Yeah,
Taking
they
down
skip a lot of it.
That whole thing with the other student and stuff, and
Yeah. What was it? Shoot. Anyway, I forgot. I had something that I forgot. Anyway.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you know once I'm done with that what I think of the rest. But yeah, did you say that there's not a dub for every episode?
There's a dub for the base show, but then some of the like Blu-ray specials were none of them were dubbed. So,
Okay, so like obviously the Valentine's episode,
Right.
It's probably only in Japanese.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
And there's one with like Ren and Akechi,
Ah, okay,
just the two of them.
nice. I wonder if some of that is the Royal confidant stuff,
Maybe.
because in Royal his confidant is completely different
Yeah.
than in
There's
the vanilla. So yeah, because you don't have Kifi Joji, an entire city that And now, again, it makes sense because the confidants there are Kasumi and Akechi, which are both unique to Royal.
Yep.
There's this cool jazz club you hang out with Akechi in that you can go to, that you can invite people to. There's the
Yep.
darts and billiards place.
Yeah, and that's in
And they do that. That's pretty
in the
cool.
Blu-ray special.
That's
so
nice. Yeah, that's really cool because so you play darts with specific partners that you choose, and if you play really well, which there's an actual mini game that you have to be good at, you will rank up their baton pass.
Oh, nice.
There's rankings for their baton pass, and once you get them to fully done at rank 3, they do it's attack plus, so bonus damage, and HP and SP increases, replenishing basically. So you like baton pass to Yusuke, and he gets 100 HP and 20 SP back when you baton pass to him. It's insane, super useful. And billiards ranks up your technical damage with Ren specifically.
Oh, okay.
So it makes technicals freaking insane. If you're rank 4 maximum technical rank, your technicals do so much freaking damage, which is only used that often. But I'm starting to mess with status ailments more actually, and now that I'm messing around more, and they can be really useful actually.
Yeah.
So
I play the way I did in Pokemon, which is I never use status effects of any kind and just use only damaging moves.
They do them pretty cool in this.
Yeah.
And the technicals are really cool. But the main issue is that most bosses are immune to all or most or whatever status ailments.
Right.
Which, makes it not as useful because the regular mobs I can kill so easily.
I know some
anyway.
mini bosses are only have no weaknesses except to particular ailments.
So some mini bosses especially, they can you can make really good use of them there.
By the way, there's a dart mini game in FF7 Remake.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities actually to that. Yeah. Before we end, I want to mention that every year, Video Game Donkey, a great YouTuber, makes a best of 20 whatever.
Yeah.
So he just put out his best of 2024, and about a third of that video is him talking about Persona. So I highly recommend you watch it.
Okay.
After 8 years, he finished Persona 5 Royal. Final, no joke, he played it for that long. And
he was waiting for us.
Exactly. I couldn't believe the timing, honestly. And he just finished 3 Reload also. He played that much quicker. And basically, the consensus was if the soundtrack is good enough, even Donkey will like a JRPG. So there you go.
Nice.
He said Persona 5 soundtrack is in the top 5 in gaming history. And I'm like, I absolutely agree. It's pretty ridiculous.
It's hard for me to disagree with that.
It's really insanely good. And 3 is very good also. I haven't heard 3 Reloads very much.
Yeah.
They did change a lot of the songs, but I love the original. So, and Persona 4 has amazing music, obviously too. So, anyway, I just thought that was really cool. The timing on that was pretty awesome, I thought.
Playing 5 and especially playing 3 Reload, I'm like, oh man, Persona 4 could really use some love.
They're already, there's a lot of people being like, so when are they going to remake Persona 4? It's pretty old. Yeah, I get it. And the battle mechanics of 5 and Reload are so fun. They're so good.
And Reload even... I'm going to talk about this next episode.
Yeah,
but
well,
it even improved upon
I may
5.
have started Reload by then too. So
yeah,
because I found that even my older computer can actually run it on low settings pretty decently actually. But I'll be upgrading soon anyway. So yeah.
All right,
cool.
Let's land this plane.
That was our Persona 5 episode again. I hope you like Persona 5. If not, maybe this convinced you to play it. Oh my goodness. I can't recommend it enough, especially Royal.
Yeah.
Really? If you like to use your gun, I recommend playing Royal. Anyway, this has been us. If you liked this, please like it if you're on YouTube. What's up, YouTube?
What's up?
Give us a comment and a subscribe and all that, or we'll kill you.
Whoa.
Too far? Okay.
A little bit.
I'll high five you like it's a baton pass. How about that?
Be a little like Makoto on Valentine's Day if she found out you were with someone else.
Oh, could you imagine if they left in the romance for Sae and you dated both of them and they both showed up?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they would literally kill you, I think. Like, anyway, give us a rating. Go follow us on Twitter at the Brothers G Pod. That's it.
Cool.
Get out of my face.
Bye.